In Laura FM in Laura, A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, Sky FM in Sunyani, and Victory FM at Plao. Go digital on Spotify and the Manjoy Online app. Coming up. Some driver unions reject the 15% transport fare increment, insisting they will rather implement a 30% raise, accusing the Transport Coordinating Council of bad faith.
Who is the coordinating council? Do they buy fuel for us? Do they buy cars for us? So who are they? The rickety cars are going to charge 15%. We will take 30%.
But the Transport Coordinating Council says it will ensure that all drivers comply with a 14% increment.
They came out with some percentages which we thought was quite outrageous and, it's not based on scientific facts. So we have to meet and determine what we can do to support the industry as a whole.
Also in this package, the depreciation of the Ghana cedi continues to threaten the livelihood of second-hand clothes dealers in Kantamanto.
When you have 50 cedis, don't buy jeans. Chop indomie with them. Just you buy bola. They'll fake you.
Stay tuned in for more in today's edition of the Joy News Living Standard series. Also here on the Midday News, minority NDC in Parliament pushes for mass registration of persons seeking the Ghana card ahead of formal meeting with the authority. We'll bring you details. And later, Bawi Municipal Chief Executive and the investigation over his alleged involvement in illegal sand mining within a heavily guarded buffer zone of the Wager water treatment plant.
We don't want this thing of the dereliction of duty to go scot-free. I'm summoning the MC to my office. I mean, who would have imagined in his or her wildest dreams that people will be just going up there to win stone and stand?
We'll hear from the MC and also the sanitation minister who stormed the site with a joint police and military task force to uncover the illegal activities. And later, Accra, very far away from being rated the cleanest city in Africa. That's the verdict of the coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation as they call for a presidential policy intervention in support of Operation Clean Your Frontage.
We are very, very, very far away from it. Look, to be able to do this, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. You need to ensure that you prioritize this and make it a national development agenda.
And coming up in sport,
create an environment for House of Oak and Asante Kotoko to thrive in CAF interclub competitions. Al-Ali coach Picho Musmani tells football investors in the country.
We also have showbiz for you in this half-hour package. Thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Hello again, I'm Ernest Mino. Let's settle for the details now. Some driver unions have rejected the 15% increment in transport fares announced by the Ghana Roads Transport Coordinating Council. The unions, the Ghana Committed Drivers, National Concerned Drivers and True Drivers say the Coordinating Council does not speak for them, insisting they have already increased fares by 30%. Transport operators under the Roads Transport Coordinating Council arrived at the 15% increase starting this weekend. The increase will affect shared taxis, intra-city, popularly known as Trotro, and intercity transport. The drivers say the hike has been necessitated by the increase in fuel prices. Member of the communications team of the GPRTU, Samuel Amwa, has details of the meeting.
After a lengthy deliberations on discussions, the conclusion was that transport operators have been given 15% upward adjustment of transport fares. And then the agreement is that this increment is taking place or taking effect right from coming Saturday, the 26th of February 2022. We are urging all commuters to go strictly by these directives from the ministry and the transport operators. So currently, the approved transport fares has come out and it's 15%, and that is what we have agreed upon.
But some of the unions have rejected this announcement. Chairman of the Committed Drivers Association, Charles Danzo, tells my colleague Elton Brobe they won't comply.
From next week, Saturday going, you go around and check whether it is 15% that they are taking.
So meaning what? You'll be charging the 30%?
They will be charging 30%.
In other words, you are rejecting the 15% increment.
They will reject it. They've rejected it. BA,
Yes.
and then Upper East, they are taking the 30%.
But isn't that unlawful, knowing that the coordinating council now says it should be 15%?
Who is the coordinating council? Do they buy fuel for us? Do they buy cars for us? So who are they?
So, Mr. Alonso, you are not accepting a 15% increment?
That's my brother. We increased our fare last time. Even Metro Mass increased their fare about 2 weeks ago. Have you spoken to them?
I just spoke to the secretary to the GPRTCC, and he is of the view that because of competition, some of you might even decide to charge lower than the approved 15%.
We don't know any competition. If you go, maybe the rickety cars are going to charge 15%. We will take 30%.
Isn't that not being unlawful?
What makes it unlawful?
Because there's a communique that says that all of you should charge 15%.
Communicate to who?
To all driver unions.
It's not true.
That's chairman of the Commuter Drivers Association, Charles Danso, in that interview with my colleague Elton Brobe. But secretary of the Roads Transport Coordinating Council, Emmanuel Oheneyeboa, says the demands of what he calls breakaway unions are unjustified.
They came out with some percentages which we thought was quite outrageous and, it's not based on scientific fact. So we have to meet and determine what we can do to support the industry as a whole. The word of any personal interest and any parochial positions.
So this decision you've taken, or this announcement that has come out, has the backing of all the unions?
To a very large extent, yes, because the coordinating council and the GPRC are arguably the largest transport operators in Ghana. We command over 90%, 95% of the total operations. And this has been the forum where prices are discussed and implemented over the years, for the past 6 years or more.
Meanwhile, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been explaining how the rise in prices in petroleum products are significantly impacting inflation, which stands at its 6-year high. He's been speaking at the National Energy Transition Dialogue here in Accra.
So we have to be very aware of where this is going. There are many who have said that the petroleum price increase is going to remain at such high levels that we are not going to see any major declines. Then how do we as developing countries like Ghana adjust to this new reality if it becomes a new normal of high oil prices and high petroleum prices and its impact on the macro variables in our respective economies? It is very clear that we need to have a plan. Hence, this is what this stakeholder conference is.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia there. A dollar is almost 7 cedis, and this will be good news for those of you who are paid in dollars. But if you need to convert cedis to import cedis to dollars to import goods, it's a real pain. In today's episode of the Joy News Living Standard series, we gauge how the second-hand clothes dealers are coping with the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. Mamiesi Thompson reports.
This is Kantamantu, the hub of second-hand clothing in the country. In this market, world-renowned designers are well represented here. Gucci, Prada, Versace, name it. People who cannot afford high-end clothing in boutiques and big shops come here for the latest thrift clothes.
This is the place where lawyers, if they go school, they come here. Mokola lawyers, lecturers, they come here. Students, they go to Legon, KNUS, to me, I host them for a year.
If you do not have the budget for an expensive wedding dress, you can get them here, even used underwears.
Wedding dear, Pioto and tomorrow and Tario material
For people who do not have money to buy bales of clothing, they select clothes and hawk them by the roadside. The hassle is real, especially for sellers and buyers who are reeling under difficulties due to the impact of the COVID pandemic.
Things aren't going well at all. We are in difficult times. These days, we don't even get staff.
Antoinette scouts for used clothing to sell to her customers outside Kantamanto. Since dawn, it's been challenging getting goods at a reasonable price. A bale of clothes has shot up because of the depreciation of the cedi.
My cash is even finished. Right now, I need about 1,000 cedis to inject into my business. Those days, I could save and feed my children, but now it has gotten so bad that I cannot even save.
Mamiesi Thompson with today's episode of the Joy News Living Standard series. Let's go to Parliament now. The Minority Caucus on the Communications Committee says it will push for a return to the mass registration of persons seeking the Ghana card as the National Identification Authority appears before it tomorrow to answer questions facing the system. Now, Deputy Ranking Member on the committee and MP for Ningo Prampram, Sam George, also observed that the premium charge of 250 Ghana cedis by the NIA is also unjust and will be challenged when they appear Wednesday. We'll hear from him shortly, but first listen to some applicants expressing their frustration on the ongoing registration exercise.
Vice President always says digitalization. If we can digitalize this, it will help. It will really help because there are more Ghanaians who've not done this. And then after 12 or after 1 o'clock, there will be a lot of people outside there who won't be able to come in to do it. And then they would have to go, others come here at 2 o'clock in the morning to do it because of the queue. So they will go home back and then they will come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So taking a week to do this, just a card.
Mine is a suggestion. I suggest that the setup could have been more because looking at the people outside, half of them will not be able to even register their names. Even those who will register, they won't get their card today. They must come tomorrow. And outside, they've been giving numbers right from the morning. But the numbers, those who will be cut off, when they come the next day, those numbers will not work again.
Let's go to Parliament now. Before then, let's listen to the Deputy Ranking Member on the Communications Committee, Sam George, who is unhappy with the process.
Is that the Committee on Communication, the NDC caucus on the Committee on Communication, led by the Honorable ABF Husseini, will take these issues up. Tomorrow, the leadership of the NIA, the Executive Director, Professor Kenatefa, is appearing before Parliament. And we will take all of these issues up. I mean, be it the issues of having to take this registration back to the districts, not just having a district office, but opening up in various parts of the community like another mass registration, because it is obvious that the first mass registration did not achieve everything it had to do, and so we need to have another mass registration that they need to look at. We need to look at that. We need to have that conversation. It's also obvious to us that we need to look at even the premium service. The lady asked a very important question, and as a member of parliament, I didn't have an answer to it. She's a Ghanaian. She has a birth certificate, and another Ghanaian has a birth certificate. Our laws say that our public services must not be discriminatory. And you are saying that if she doesn't have 2.5 million, she is not Ghanaian enough.
Kwesi Parker Wilson joins us from Parliament now with more on this. Parker, what exactly has necessitated this invitation by the committee to the NIA?
Come again with a question. I didn't get that.
What has necessitated this invitation to the NIA to appear before Parliament?
Well, essentially, according to the minority, there are individuals or Ghanaians who are yet to acquire their Ghana card, since the rollout. And so they have agreed to summon officials of NIA to come and brief members on what's been happening, how many Ghanaians have been registered, and whether there's a certain target for them. And as mind you, we are told that it will be used for the EC registration as well. And so the NP want to know how far they've gone with the registration.
What else is happening in Parliament, Parker?
Well, Parliament is yet to kickstart its sessions for today, but one of the key issues we are looking at is whether or not the NPP MPs will indeed invoke Order 16 and get the seat of Dominic Kwabena declared vacant. Also, we know that the minority, some members of the NDC are taking against the move and asking that there were other NPP MPs who may have infringed on Order 16. And so they will ensure that they summon all of them to the Privileges Committee.
That's parliamentary correspondent Kwesi Parker Wilson. To some stories on education now. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, says government has up to 14 days to improve their working conditions or they will resume their strike. UTAG announced a suspension of a strike that lasted more than 40 days after a high court ordered them to return to work. Speaking at a news conference just moments ago, the national president of UTAG, Professor Solomon Nunu, warned that members of UTAG are unhappy and will go all lengths to ensure an improvement in their conditions of service.
We call on the government to take advantage of this window to help improve the salary and general working conditions of the university teacher. We also call on the government to see to the implementation of the several agreements that have been signed in recent times. We call on all members of UTAG also to rally behind leadership and remain calm and resolute at this important phase of our history. In many forums, the employer has agreed with stakeholders that there is the need to improve the conditions of service of the university teachers. Thus, we are cautiously optimistic that the government will do the needful to improve the working conditions of the university teacher. We know that the government has not fulfilled its part of the bargain in many signed agreements in the recent past. However, the involvement of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education and other eminent persons, we expect the government to carry through its promises this time round. We will, however, not hesitate to resume the suspended strike action should government renege on its commitments at the end of the stipulated period of negotiations.
That's National President of UTAG, Professor Solomon Nunu. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me on the line with more on this. Kweku, UTAG has called off the strike, but is it clear when exactly they will return to the lecture halls?
So it is expected that members will start going back to the classroom from tomorrow. We understand that the University of Ghana and other managements of the various public universities have started making arrangements to receive students. And so all these universities will do this on their own timelines, as and when they are ready, as and when all the processes that are needed to ensure that students can get to the classroom and for lecturers to start teaching to begin. But what we know is that this strike by UTAG has been suspended, and as of now, UTAG members are expected to be in their offices.
And what's the plan for the negotiation? They indicated that government has 14 days, but do we know how and when this will take place?
So they said they are going to continue negotiating with government, and just like you heard the national president said in the soundtrack to play it, they called off their strike in a similar fashion last year, expecting that government would heed to the memorandum of understanding that they signed, but government did not. This time around, they say they are cautiously optimistic, that is the words of the national president, that government is going to heed to its side of the bargain and address the conditions of service of UTAG members. So in 14 days, they are back not teaching students.
Thank you very much. That's my colleague Kweku Asante bringing us details on the UTAG strike. Now, this afternoon, the Municipal Chief Executive for Wajir Bawe, Patrick Kumo, has been summoned by the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources over his alleged involvement in illegal mining of sand around the Wajir water treatment plant. A visit by a joint task force led by Madam Cecilia Abnadapa to the heavily guarded buffer zone Midday revealed how some persons bypassed a military post to cut away several tracks of sand and stones.
Yes, it adds up to the turbidity that we don't want to be high. And this is illegal mining of what? Sand and stones. What I've seen, and I'm sure you are equally shocked at the way they are cutting off the sand and stones from here.
Well, the miners claim they have the permission of the assembly. Listen to one of them who identified himself as Akins.
Oh, yes, assembly now me call you know. Any permission passage, but no mame letter. And notice me, and notice what I was because I'm there event. Letter and then no. kyerɛ sɛ yɛyi kwan no firi alenke to agape down. Assembly no bi. Yeah, assembly no bi.
I went to the assembly and the assemblyman gave me a letter noticing the waterworks. The signature was quoted through the assembly. Even though it isn't the MC's signature, he was in the know. That is why he authorized the assemblyman to write the letter. I have the backing of the chiefs, and so it is only reasonable that I construct the road. I sell a trip for 180 Ghana cedis and share the proceeds with the chiefs.
About 180.
Oh, and the man can't join because I'm just say I him for mammy hokwan. Sir, I him for no dear. Land fee no convenient, and I come to diesel and I'm the power machine.
And so that's Akins, part of the team Mind and Sun and the Wager water treatment plant. Now, this was strongly resisted by officials of the Ghana Water Company. Here's Managing Director Dr. Clifford Brymer.
I said, chiefs don't do road, assemblies don't do road. They should go and tell highways and ministries. Then they'll talk to our minister. Our engineers will sit down and talk. Which palace does road? That third road was done by Ghana Water Company, not urban rules. So if they want to continue with it, why? They just join because where is the power coming from? The law does not give them the power.
So somebody will say that you are targeting.
I am not targeting him. I'm just saying he should stop bringing the information he's carrying. All I can do is to forward it to the ministry, and the minister has come. Now he has sent it. He's taking a cabinet posture.
But have you been aware of the district's workings?
We're not aware. That's what I'm telling my people. They shouldn't limit them because they do not speak for Ghana Water Company. I speak for Ghana Water Company. If they say they've written a letter to me and I have received it, they should collect the letter and see whether my stamp is on it.
So you are more culpable than even him because your men are on ground every day and they allow them to do it.
We are going to the military camp, so you can ask them why there is a military post and people can pass through. What will I be able to do?
Why not ask you? Your people are here, you supervise them.
Because I cannot do it alone, that's why I went to National Security and they deployed military people here. And there's a military post. So let's go to them.
That deployment has been useless, obviously.
So, am I the commander? No. So let's go and speak to them.
Dr. Clifford Brymer is Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company Limited. My colleague Manuel Cranton has been on this beat and joins me in the studio with more details. Manuel, first of all, let's start with the Wager treatment plant. How many people does it serve?
So, and as what we know is that it serves a total of about 1.5 million people in Accra alone, and all of these people depend on the Wager water treatment plant. And so, any mishap that happens to this particular treatment plant would affect 1.5 million people.
You on site with the minister yesterday when you uncovered this illegality. Give us more details about what you saw and the extent of the impact of this illegal sand winning.
So we know that there are three different activities which are impacting on the water bodies. First of all, is the activities of peasant farmers who are tapping from the dams and river bodies close to these water treatment plants. Also, we have the activities of illegal miners, galamsey activities, also polluting the water. And then also the sand miners who are mining within the buffer zone, a total of about 500 meters of buffer zone around the treatment plant. They are mining, and we're told by the Ghana Water Company Limited that it cost them about 100 more bags of aluminium sulfate to treat the water. And before now, they used to use 200 bags. Now they're using 300 bags to treat the water to be dispersed.
Manuel Cranton there. Let's now hear from the sector minister, Cecilia Abnadapa, who says a full-blown investigation will be carried out into the issue.
We are going to institute full investigations into this. We don't want to shield anybody. We don't want people who have had this thing of the dereliction of duty to go scot-free. I'm summoning the MC to my office. I mean, who would have imagined in his or her wildest dreams that people will be just going up there to win, stone, and stand? It's to protect the plants. It's a security asset. Yes.
These are huge tracks that cannot be hidden. When they climb the mountain.
I think your premise is well taken. We don't have to do a banter on that. They are not allowed from today. I don't know what instructions they had been given by Ghana Water, but I have come to see things for myself.
That's Sanitation and Water Resources Minister Cecilia Abnadapa, and we're able to speak to the MC for Wager Bawe, Patrick Kumo, but in the last minutes, he's indicated he wants to respond to the summons from the ministry. Once we have him, we'll bring you that interview. And you're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's now time for sports. Muftal joins me with the latest.
3 times CAF Champions League winner Picho Mosmani has called out the leadership of House of Folk and Asante Kotoko for the failures of the two clubs in continental competitions. House of Folk were embarrassingly knocked out of the CAF Champions League after winning the GPL last season, and Kotoko have not made it to the group stage since 2006. And Mosmani wants more focus for these clubs.
But what surprises me, where is the Porcupine Warriors? Where are they, guys? They used to everybody. Where's Phobia? Where are those teams, guys? You know the derby of the Phobias and the Porcupine Warriors. You know the derby. The streets are closed. Where are those teams in the Champions League, guys? I mean, really? Are we serious? Where's the top talent? What's happening? You must tell me what's happening. But you need to have an organized league. You need to have TV on the league. You need to have fixtures right. But you need also to improve the stadia. Also, the stadia, I know it's not easy because.
That is Picho Mosmani calling out House of Folk and Kotoko leadership. You must thrive in Africa. What is happening? Maybe the leadership will have to provide answers.
Let's see how it goes. Thank you very much, Uftal, for bringing us sports. You're listening to the Midday News. Still to come, Accra very far away from being rated the cleanest city in Africa. That's the verdict of the coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation.
We are very, very, very far away from it. Look, to be able to do this, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. You need to ensure that you prioritize this and make it a national development agenda.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News with me, Ernest Mino. Accra is very far away from being rated the cleanest city in Africa. That's the verdict of the coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation, CONIWAS. The group is expressing disquiet that till date government is yet to prioritize sanitation by placing it at the heart of the development agenda. It's been 3 weeks since officials here in Accra rolled out the Operation Clean Your Frontage, and yet Joy News checks reveal that the policy aimed at achieving the present vision of making Accra the cleanest city is experiencing a slow takeoff. Blazer Suga was at the Kaneshi lorry terminal and now reports.
Well, it's been 3 weeks since the official takeoff of Operation Clean Your Frontage. Government explains that it is targeting to achieve the president's vision of making Accra the cleanest city in West Africa. The operation is being enhanced across all districts here in the Greater Accra region with a directive to the local authorities to ensure that they rid the various municipalities and districts of filth and ensure sanitation. But it appears that after 3 weeks of takeoff, the situation is not getting any better. We're here at a Metro Mass Transit point at the Kaneshi lorry terminal where the situation is not looking good. Garbage gathered right in front of a Metro Mass bus where persons and commuters have been complaining about the experience almost on a daily basis.
Blazer Suga with that report. Let's now hear from the chairperson of CONIWAS, Atain.
Look, the difference between us and the advanced countries is simply a matter of systems and enforcement. And so we are able to introduce very good initiatives. And then we launch it with pomp and pageantry. And then after that, the systems to sustain the program, it's not there. Look, we have all applauded the effort of the Greater Accra Regional Minister. This is a very brilliant initiative. And I think that this initiative has to be anchored within established institutions.
That's Atain, his chairperson of the coalition of NGOs in sanitation and health. And it's now time for showbiz here on the Midday News. Kofi Hayford has the latest.
High Life artist Akwabwa Jr. strongly believes that High Life will stand the test of time and sell Ghana to the world. Despite introduction of modern genres, Akwabwa believes High Life is ours as Ghanaians and its uniqueness will eventually pay off. Meanwhile, actress Yvonne Nelson has revealed that her best friend looked down upon her because she couldn't get into the university at a time when all her friends were going to school. However, she stayed motivated by her friend's action, resat for her papers, and gained admission to the university later. Finally, Britney Spears has reportedly signed a $15 million deal for an upcoming tell-all memoir. Remember that her long-time conservatorship was officially terminated 3 months ago, and this new $15 million deal will allow her to share her side of the story.
That's Kofi Hayford with Showbiz here on the Midday News and inspired by Joy Entertainment, large and in charge. And that's our package for this afternoon. Many thanks for your company. I'm Ernest Menu. You'll find more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is Dr. Mensa Otabil with Living Word.
Business a bit news to say. So the projections from the first quarter show a higher total gross profit for the fiscal year. A bit me kasa saying Nana, goods not land you. He did the